The warmest of greetings to you, and welcome to Happily Ever Teaching. This is the podcast to help you enthrall your learners in every subject under the sun using the best teaching method known to science, storytelling. To do this, we feature special guest educators who are passionately keen for your children to become amazing and successful human beings. I am storyteller Chip Cahoon, and with me today is...
Hi, I'm Helen, and I teach reception in Year 1 children at the moment at a small school in Buckinghamshire.
And I'm Nicola, and I teach Year 6 children at a school in Hampshire, and I've spent time in my career also teaching students at Teacher Training College at university.
And today we are exploring learning outcomes in geography with a folktale found all around the world on the importance of balance, adapted by us to feature legendary pirate queen Grace O'Malley. You can listen to the story by downloading our sister podcast, Fables and Fairy Tales, or search our website, epictales.co.uk, for Pirate Grace and the Mermaid Medicine. There you'll find a video of me telling the story that you can share with your children. And if you sign up as an Epic Educator, you'll also get a copy as an ebook or paperback, beautifully illustrated by Erica Terry Rose, as well as the full audiobook for you to download at any time. There are even some tips there for telling the story yourself, and a whole heap of resources to go with the lesson ideas we're about to discuss, including any extra lesson ideas that we don't have time to fit into this podcast. Right now, though, let's continue our discussion with Helen, Nicola, and Pirate Grace, and this is a story about an Irish pirate queen. As we are entering a geography episode, is anybody mentioning Ireland and the Irish Sea? No, in that case, no one wins the battle to go first.
We will now. Let's mention it now anyway.
Okay, well, go on then, Helen. If you kick us off for ages 4 to 7.
Well, of course, we have to look at oceans and seas, don't we? I mean, we're on a pirate ship. We're sailing the 7 seas, or the 5 oceans in this case.
Obviously, you definitely could mention the Irish Sea.
We could mention the Irish Sea, but I was going to start with the Key Stage 1 objective of naming the 5 oceans.
Gotcha.
Which is one of those knowledge-based objective. The children need to know the names of the 5 oceans. But if you can bring it into a story like this, it just gives it that much more meaning, and it's likely to become much more memorable.
Yes, yeah.
It could be the captain, or as we've talked about in previous episodes, Grace could now have her own ship that she's leading, and she's going to go on some journeys. And she's going to visit all these different oceans. And then, of course, you're going to look at a map. And look at the names of the different oceans.
A map that you probably built using the sequins that you had from your medicine earlier on.
The shiny map. Shiny magical map that Grace is going to take with her. There's so many different ways to approach this as an activity. The children could be plotting a journey in Rollers Grace, and they could sort of write down which oceans they're going to visit. You could give them a continent or a country, depending on what you're doing and what age they are, that they need to get to. And they're going to say, oh, you're on your Grace, you're on your ship and you're in this ocean. You need to get to this country. Which oceans are you going to be crossing? There's all kinds of creative ways that you can just look at that objective of crossing the oceans.
I love the idea that you'd also have to think about things like the temperature of the oceans that you're crossing and any particular hazards that the oceans might have, like icebergs maybe, to be aware of, and how you could kit out your ship to deal with them in advance.
I think that's a great idea. You could, before you sort of start doing the journey, as it were, look at that map, look at where the equator is, learn a little bit about the different oceans. So the children have got some simple facts, depending on their age range, different facts about the oceans. I mean, like they're sort of going up towards the upper end of this age range. You could even write a list of things you're going to need on your ship, or write an itinerary for the journey.
Yeah.
All of those things that will just help children to cover that objective of naming the oceans. Yes. And then, of course, as part of that, you could get them to visit Ireland.
Yes.
Locate Ireland on a map, look at the United Kingdom and Northern Ireland and Republic of Ireland, and the different countries that make up Great Britain, the United Kingdom, all those different names for the different parts we have, which is an important part of geography learning as well.
In this country,
in
certainly.
In this country, it's one of the 2014 curriculum important things.
How about as we go up to ages 7 to 11, though, Nicola? Is there more geography exploring to be done?
Definitely. We've got the whole world there. Literally the whole world.
Whole world on a pirate ship, you know.
Grace is travelling the world on a pirate ship. So really, it's open-ended there. I mean, obviously, as part of the curriculum, we think about locating the world's countries, knowing the location of North and South America and so on. So teaching where things are in the world. I mean, you've mentioned the oceans for younger children. So building on that, thinking about the countries and not necessarily capital cities. I don't think Grace would necessarily go to those, but major ports in those countries that she might stop off at.
Yes. Well, that's true. Yeah.
And there's some fantastic online opportunities. City tracker, you can go to any city in the world and find information and live cameras there and actually be in those countries. So getting familiar with that, using maps then to identify positioning of latitude and longitude for older children, talking about whether Grace is in the northern hemisphere or the southern hemisphere and understanding that, or is she near the equator and it's really hot. Then also thinking about the compass as well, so identifying the 8 points of the compass and perhaps like you said, maybe Grace travels around the world, but where does she go? And actually getting children to plan a route, and then other children have to track it on their map and follow what that child's saying.
Excellent. Yeah, this is going to be such a fun adventure.
I mean, Grace could stop off. I mean, like I said, my children have learned about Japan. She could stop off in any country that perhaps is on your school curriculum, and then you could explore that further, that particular country and its culture and its different attributes of the country.
Yeah, in fact, if you had this as the story right at the start of term and at the time of airing, this is going out just at the end of the academic year. So if you pick this up for the start of your new academic year, this could be a fantastic way of going on a story tour. So as she visits a new country, explore what the story is there. And if you have Grace then as your, I guess, arc character. Oh, and that has a double meaning too. Arc character.
Doing well today.
Yeah, we really are.
Back to Noah.
And speaking of etymology as well, just thinking about it, I think this is lovely to talk about major ports, because then the word airport makes more sense as well.
That's true.
Just a cozy little aside. I know it's not as fun as going around the world collecting stories, but there you go.
Why not?
I also think food's important in the curriculum. I know we mentioned about cooking earlier. However, trying foods from different countries will really excite children and is memorable. And I think learning needs to be fun and memorable as well.
It helps them have a balanced diet later on in life too.
Not always. The theme of my class this year is donuts. That's not a great balanced diet.
That's a great theme.
Yeah, I know.
Oh dear, we've just completely destroyed the chances of either of your schools having a balanced diet.
No, it's just my class. They decided that's what they wanted to enjoy for a treat every now and then.
I think my class should enjoy donuts as a treat, and I should get some spare ones. Yes.
Well, given that we've got donuts, it's a good job we're doing PE tomorrow.
Yes. We'll have the donuts today, we'll do the PE tomorrow.
That's sadly all we have time for in this episode, folks. If you'd like to talk to us about anything you've heard in this podcast, or if there's a subject you are soon to teach that you'd like us to cover, you can find us on social media using @TeachHappily, or leave us a review using your favourite podcast app. Please do also share this podcast with your colleagues and help us start a story-led revolution in classrooms around the world, so children everywhere can learn in a way that's effective, memorable, and enjoyable all at the same time. Now, as you've already heard, tomorrow Pirate Grace will help us teach physical education. But right now, it only remains for us to say cheerio, and we hope to hear your story soon. So,
cheerio! And we hope to hear your story soon.